is, bruh, why didn't you just come out the motherfucking house? See, it was you who she wanted. Yeah, they probably end up boxing, got to fighting or whatnot later on down the line. But if you had brought your motherfucking ass out of that goddamn house, that would have diffused both of them women.
Imagine waking up every day, showing your best face to the world, sharing moments of joy and happiness, and even celebrating special anniversaries online. You put up a facade of a perfect life, but behind the scenes, things are falling apart. This is the reality for 42-year-old Kiona Wilson, a woman from Tennessee who, despite her outwardly picture-perfect life, was living through a storm that would ultimately take her life in the most tragic way imaginable. On August 25, 2025, she would go looking for her cheating husband in his side chick's home, but nothing prepared her for what would happen and how she would end up paying with her life. What started as an argument over an affair quickly escalated, resulting in a deadly altercation. But what makes this even more tragic is that this murder was entirely preventable. Before we uncover the terrifying truth that unfolded in a single moment, let's step back and explore how what appeared to be a perfect relationship turned into a nightmare. Kiona Wilson, lovingly called Keedy, was a 42-year-old woman who lived in Nashville, Tennessee, a city celebrated for its rich musical heritage and vibrant culture. Within her community, Kiona was admired not only for her radiant smile and warm heart, but also for the way she carried herself with grace and kindness. She was the type of person who left an impression wherever she went, remembered for her generosity and her ability to make others feel valued. Family was the cornerstone of Kiona's life. She embodied traditional values, taking pride in her role as a devoted daughter, sister, and friend. Her home was often a gathering place, filled with laughter, food, and the kind of memories that bind families together. Whether she was organizing celebrations or simply offering support to someone in need, Kiona made it her mission to nurture those around her. Her presence was a reminder of the strength that comes from unity and love. Beyond her personal relationships, Kiona was ambitious and determined. She dreamed of success and stability, not just for herself, but for the people she loved. Her drive was relentless, pushing her to work hard and strive for a better future. She wanted to build something lasting, a life that reflected her values and her vision. Yet, despite her optimism and determination, Kiona's story would take a tragic turn as this vibrant woman became the victim of a senseless and horrific crime. On the personal side of her journey, Kiona found love in Amadeo Wilson. Together, they quickly became known as a power couple. Their marriage seemed to embody everything people aspire to: love, success, and family. Amadeo was more than just her husband. He was her partner in every sense of the word. The two worked side by side, building businesses and creating a life that many admired from afar. Their relationship was celebrated publicly as well. When they reached their 5th wedding anniversary, they marked the occasion with heartfelt posts on social media. Kiona herself shared a touching message, a gesture that reflected the affection she held for her husband. From the outside, their marriage appeared strong and enviable, a union filled with love and shared accomplishments. But as time went on, cracks began to show beneath the surface. Despite the loving words and public displays of devotion, the reality behind closed doors was far more complicated. What looked like a flawless partnership was, in truth, a relationship struggling with hidden challenges. As the years passed, Kiona began to notice something wasn't right in her marriage. She discovered that Amadeo was having an affair, and to make matters worse, the woman he was seeing was none other than Kiosha Greer, a woman she now saw as the source of all her heartbreak. This discovery was not just a passing suspicion, it was a painful reality that Amadeo's betrayal was not just emotional, but a destructive force in their lives. The affair wasn't something Kiona could just ignore, and despite her efforts to confront Amadeo, things started to spiral. On August 25, 2025, Kiona, heartbroken and furious, decided to take matters into her own hands. Fed up with the affair, she drove to Kiosha Greer's home on Scalf Drive in Nashville, Tennessee, to confront her directly. This was not an impulsive action, but one born out of overwhelming emotion and a sense of betrayal. Kiona's anger was justified in her eyes. Her husband had betrayed her trust, and now it was time to face the woman who was part of that betrayal. Armed with a key that belonged to her husband, she moved his car from behind the house to the front and knocked on the door. However, what Kiona didn't know was that this would not be the confrontation she had imagined. Kiosha Greer, unknown to Kiona, had a criminal past and was no stranger to violence. A convicted felon, Kiosha was not going to back down in the face of confrontation. She didn't know the extent of Kiona's anger, but she certainly wasn't afraid to defend herself. Initially, Kiosha had spoken to Kiona through the home surveillance system speaker. Both women had gotten into a heated argument. The situation quickly escalated when Kiona attempted to force her way into the home. When Kiona tried to force her way into the home, Kiosha shot at her through the storm door. While Kiona wasn't initially hit by that first shot, things quickly escalated.
Yesterday, Kiona went to the home of her husband's mistress. News articles are saying girlfriends, but we're going to call her mistress since they're still married. A shot was fired through the storm door because Kiona was trying to get into the home. The bullet did hit her, but also during an altercation, it's being said that she was shot again.
In the ensuing struggle, Kiosha fired again, this time striking Kiona in the abdomen. Kiona Wilson, badly wounded, stumbled out of the house and into her husband's car. Bloodied and in distress, she began to drive away from the scene, likely hoping to find help. She made her way toward the Madison Police Precinct, not far from where the shooting had taken place. It was here that she flagged down a police officer, and in a desperate move, she was rushed to Skyline Medical Center. Sadly, despite the officer's best efforts to stabilize her, Kiona Wilson succumbed to her injuries at a hospital.
Police, that woman was shot and killed searching for her cheating husband. Now, we brought you this story. It's breaking news. This was yesterday morning. Police say 42-year-old Kiona Wilson was found shot inside a car. It was just outside the Madison Police Precinct. Investigators tell us she was actually shot inside a home on Scout Drive. Investigators say she went to the home looking for her husband, who was in a relationship with another woman. Police say she got into an argument with the other woman, then tried to force her way into the house. That's when the woman shot Wilson in the stomach, according to police. Wilson drove away, flagged down an officer outside the precinct. She later died at the hospital. So far, no charges have been filed.
As the news broke, the community and her family were left in shock, unable to comprehend how something so violent could have taken place. Kiona had lost her life not just because of a confrontation, but also due to the betrayal of a man she trusted, the father of her children. The police investigation into Kiona Wilson's death began shortly after the incident. Neighbors who had heard the gunshots from inside the house were left in shock as the situation unfolded.
Details tonight on a deadly shooting near the Madison Police Precinct that happened today. Officers have identified a woman who was found shot in a car. Detectives say Kiona Wilson forced herself into a home on Scout Drive and started fighting another woman. That's when the homeowner shot Wilson in the stomach. Wilson drove away, flagged down an officer outside of the precinct. She later died at the hospital.
It became clear that there had been a domestic dispute that had led to Kiona's death, but questions remained about the chain of events leading up to the shooting.
It has been said that she drove to the Madison Precinct, which is the police department, and they rushed her to Skyline Medical, and that is where she passed away. Kiona leaves behind a host of family and friends. And let me tell you something. I seen her all on my timeline yesterday and had no clue what happened.
As detectives pieced together the details of the confrontation, the story that emerged was one of betrayal, anger, and violence. Kiona had arrived at Kiosha's home that morning, determined to confront the woman she believed was the cause of her marital problems. What Kiona didn't anticipate was that Kiosha's reaction would lead to her own death. While there was no immediate arrest, Kiosha Greer was later identified as the shooter. Law enforcement had to determine whether Kiosha's actions were self-defense or if her use of the gun went too far. The fact that Kiosha was a convicted felon who shouldn't have had access to a firearm added another layer of complexity to the case. In situations like this, where emotions are running high, it's difficult to assess where the line is between self-defense and excessive force. As the investigation continues, Kiona's family was left in shock and grief. Friends, loved ones, and even social media followers who had seen Kiona's happy posts were now trying to come to terms with the tragedy. Her death became a grim reminder of how domestic violence and betrayal could lead to devastating consequences. And while Kiosha Greer's actions were being investigated, many in the community were questioning the role that Kiona Wilson, Kiona's husband, played in setting this chain of events into motion. The public's reaction to the story was one of disbelief and anger. Many questioned Kiona's decision to confront Kiosha directly at her home. While Kiona's emotional response to her husband's infidelity was understandable, some felt that violence could never be the answer. The idea of going to another person's house to confront them, especially over a situation involving infidelity, raised important discussions about boundaries, personal accountability, and the escalation of conflicts. Others were quick to point out that while Kiona may have made a dangerous decision, it did not justify the extreme violence that followed. The fact that Kiosha Greer, a convicted felon, had access to a gun only added to the public outcry. Many felt that Kiosha's actions were a clear overreaction and that she should be held accountable for taking a life. On the other hand, there were those who expressed sympathy for Kiosha, arguing that her past and history of criminal behavior shouldn't define her actions at this moment. They claimed that self-defense could be a valid reason for Kiosha's decision to use a gun in that heated moment. But again, questions arose. Did Kiosha truly feel threatened, or was she simply trying to defend her home? The ambiguity of the situation kept the public guessing, and the debate around it continued to grow. This particular person had a lot to say about the situation that unfolded. She clarified she didn't know Kiona personally, but said that in a marriage where a husband is out doing who knows what, someone needs to talk you down before you make choices like what Kiona did. She advised that if a husband has let someone home, you let him stay there, and said her advice would be the same for her sister or cousin. Don't go to anyone's house. If he wants them, let him have them.
So I don't know Kiona, but what I do know is that when you're involved into a marriage and your husband is out doing God knows what, you definitely have to have someone in your ear that's talking you down when it comes to doing things like this. But let's go a little further. If your husband is let someone home, you let him stay there. The best advice I'm going to give you is the same advice that I would give to my sister, my cousin. I would not be reporting the story any differently. I would probably be more angrier if it was someone close to me because they know better. Because I am the first to tell anyone, you don't go to nobody's house. If he wants them, let him have them. And if they want him, let him have them. Let them have them. You don't go to nobody's home.
She stated that cheating men aren't worth it, citing a case in Alabama where a man found his girlfriend cheating, killed someone, and went to jail, adding that it wasn't self-defense and you don't go to anyone's house.
These men out here cheating on y'all, they ain't worth it. These just happened with the dude in Alabama. He done ran up in his house, apartment, and found his girlfriend cheating on him. Now he done unalived the coach. Going right in jail. That ain't self-defense. You don't go to nobody's house, man. Y'all can't even, no matter how y'all want to twist and turn this, and yes, this is someone's loved one. This is somebody's family member. At the end of the day, we got to hold our people accountable.
Kiosha's actions during that confrontation would likely play a significant role in determining how the case would unfold in the courts. But the bigger question remained, why had things escalated so quickly? Why did it result in Kiona's death? For Kiona's family, the events that unfolded on that day were impossible to comprehend. Kiona's teenage children had already been through the emotional roller coaster of witnessing their mother's pain and heartbreak over the infidelity, but now they were forced to process the fact that their mother was gone. Kiona had been a strong, loving, and devoted woman, a wife who had loved deeply, and a friend who had stood by those she cared about. Her loss was felt by everyone around her. The community also felt the weight of this loss. In Nashville, a city known for its vibrant culture and nightlife, Kiona's death left many questioning the escalation of domestic disputes and the role that violence played in relationships. It was a reminder of how quickly things could spiral out of control when emotions, betrayal, and anger came into play. While the police continued to investigate Kiosha Greer's role in the shooting, there was a general consensus that this was a preventable tragedy. At the same time, some people began to place blame on Amadeo Wilson, Kiona's husband, for what had happened. His unfaithfulness had set this chain of events into motion. His actions, which ultimately led to Kiona's tragic decision to confront Kiosha, could never be erased. While Kiosha pulled the trigger, it was Amadeo's betrayal that sparked the confrontation. It was a stark reminder that emotional abuse, cheating, and betrayal could have devastating consequences, ones that no one saw coming.
It's bruh. Why didn't you just come out the motherfucking house? See, it was you who she wanted. Yeah, they probably end up boxing, got to fighting or whatnot later on down the line. But if you had about your motherfucking ass out of that goddamn house, that would have diffused both of them women going back and forth with each other. Because at that moment, she wanted you. She wanted you. See, if it had been me, and I know I'm wrong in this situation, and you come, your wife or significant other come to my door, beating on my door, want her husband, he got to come up out of there. He had to come out of there. Especially after them fighting or whatnot, he wouldn't have been locking himself in no goddamn room. No, nigga, you come up out of here. I ain't facing this by my motherfucking self. You lock the door, bruh. And let them women go through what they went through. That's a straight goddamn in every way.
This story serves as a painful reminder of the dangerous consequences of unresolved conflicts. When relationships break down, emotions can become overwhelming, and in some cases, those emotions lead to poor decisions. Kiona's choice to confront Kiosha was born out of love and pain, but it ended tragically. It is crucial for individuals in similar situations to recognize when a confrontation is no longer safe and to seek help or support before things escalate. Violence should never be the answer to resolving a dispute, no matter how deep the hurt may run. Additionally, the case underscores the importance of understanding the complexity of relationships. While it is easy to judge Kiona's actions from the outside, it is important to remember that emotions are not always rational. Betrayal, anger, and heartbreak cloud a person's judgment, and sometimes people make decisions they would never otherwise consider in their right mind. The tragic death of Kiona Wilson is a painful reminder of how important it is to make informed and safe decisions in emotionally charged situations. Betrayal and hurt can be overwhelming, but it is crucial to find ways to process those emotions without resorting to violence. This story also serves as a call for accountability, both for those who act in anger and for the systems that allow dangerous individuals to have access to weapons. Kiona Wilson's death was a needless tragedy, one that could have been prevented if the individuals involved had taken different paths. Her memory lives on in the lives she touched, and her death serves as a cautionary tale for others who may find themselves in a similar situation. The investigation into Kiosha Greer's actions will continue, but no matter the outcome, Kiona Wilson's death leaves a lasting impact on everyone who knew her. Her story serves as a painful reminder that even the most loving relationships can be shattered by betrayal and that violence will never lead to resolution. What do you think about it? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this story intriguing, please like, share, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this.